Oh shit. Thank you so much. um, Thanks for letting me know. Tiranga. Is that how you say it? It reminds me of Tiranga Leela from Futurama. Also, hi, Chad. First time chat from viewer. Hi, it's Liberace. I made it. Flower Power Pumpkin. That's such a cute username. I love it. Also, hi, it's Sparrow City. Oh, y'all got new usernames. What sparked the new names? I'm interested. So what up, Chad and Liberace and Ferris City? The gang's all here. Little SpongeBob reference tossing in there. So what do you guys think of the topic? Yeah, I thought a lot of you guys could benefit from this. So we're gonna talk about making friends, maintaining friends, and quality friendships. As always, I'm gonna post my sources. I'm gonna post them in the chat real quick, and then also I'll put them in the bio of the or the description of the YouTube channel as well. So here you go. Um, so blah, 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 blah. Let's see. VI Falcon says, "Hey, Shorty Pop fam, cool new name party we got here." Um, Sorry, I almost burped into the mic. Classy. Also, real quick before we start, I wanted to flex on this sticker that I got when I bought bubble wrap. It says, "Please handle with care. Fragile. Thank you." And I think that describes me as a person. Um, so yeah, how are you guys doing today? What do you think of the topic? I'm gonna go over a little bit about how to meet people too, because I think that is one of the most difficult things about making friends is where the hell do you go to meet friends? Um, so Louis the Claw says, "Hi, Shorty Pop." Hey, Louis, how are you doing? Um, Part of me is like paranoid to smile because I ate a granola bar furiously before this because I didn't want to be hungry. So now I'm like worried I have chocolate in my teeth. How are you, Louis? And yeah, how many of you guys like? In what ways do you guys struggle with like social anxiety or like meeting new people? Um, you could meet new people at social functions or at school or work. Going to parties, like accepting, sometimes, especially for introverts, it's very hard to accept party invites or go to social gatherings. But, getting out of your comfort zone is a good way to meet new people. Louis the Claw says, "I'm great. How are you?" I am fabulous, actually. Thank you for asking. And I'm glad to hear you're great. What makes things great for you? Uh, Flower Power Pumpkin says, "I used to easily make friends with coworkers. That's where I met most of my friends." Yeah, I remember you talking about how with you doing Uber now, like you don't have coworkers. So do you think that that's caused a disconnect with your ability to meet new people and make new friends? Um, it's funny. I actually have met people in, casual places I would go to. Uh, you know, Two of my friends I actually met going to the laundromat. One of the girls, my friend Emily, she was studying psychology, and I'm like, "Yo, what are you doing? That's so fucking cool. I love psychology." I mean, I am doing a psychology stream right now, so you guys know that. But and I had me and the person I was with had our sketchbooks, and she's like, "Oh, are you guys artists? I want to study art therapy." And we found common ground. And another one of my friends I met at a laundromat. So, even like striking up conversations with casual, like in casual places, is a good way to make friends. Um, Let's see. Flower Power Pumpkin. It's such a fucking cute name. God damn it. I love that. I think it has been a big change. Um, I'm curious, Flower Power, what are your thoughts on like some of the places I mentioned as far as like going out and meeting new people? Um, where is your comfort zone in going out to those places, and how would you feel, or even like with Uber, whenever you run into strangers, like, do you ever make connections with those people? Actually, Poison, who I've interviewed on my stream a couple times, and big shout out to him. He's the one that gave me this camera. I met him through Uber, and he's an amazing friend. I'm really grateful for him, and yeah, I never would have met him if it weren't for me doing Uber. Louis says I slept really well last night. Fuck yeah, I did too. I took a lot of melatonin. I take this shit that it's like melatonin with like calming stuff in it. Super fucking good. Great night's sleep. And had a positive slash productive day. I thought it got a lot harder to meet people out of college. And good point about getting out of your comfort zone. I have social anxiety, so I'm always practicing. Having roommates helps a lot with staying at baseline social skills. Ooh, you know what? Actually, I have a really great exercise for you guys, especially for those of you with social anxiety. That I'm going to get into in a little bit. I'm really excited to dive into it, but we're going to play like a little game. And we'll dive into that in a minute here, but actually fuck it. You know what? I'll dive into that a little bit now while we're let's see. I'm going to move some of this shit around. So yeah, a little bit, I was talking about my notes. A fun little exercise, especially if you have social anxiety, is it's a little game that you can play by yourself or with some friends in order to help yourself in situations where you need to keep a conversation going. And it's the that reminds me of game. So for instance, like name something, like just any word, and I'll try to make a conversation out of any word. So go ahead, hit me with any word, and I'll try to make a conversation out of it. Nikki the Claw, hi Nikki, says it is for reals difficult to make friends when you're over 30. Frog. Oh, Frog, that reminds me of when I lived with my mom. She lives in the countryside, this very remote area, and she has this pond, and I was hanging outside by myself one night, and I kept hearing this weird sound. It was like, whoop, whoop, whoop. And I was like, what the fuck is that? And I'm like freaking out. I'm like, there's whoops around here. And I'm like going crazy trying to like run around, figure out what the fuck this thing is. And my mom gets home, and I'm like, there's whoops around here. What are these whoops? And she's like, Danny, those are frogs. And so ever since then, she's made fun of me. And whenever we hear a frog or see a frog, she's like, hey, Danny, there's your whoops. So just like that, you know, taking any word and like starting a conversation out of it. Let's see. And I'll try one with you guys. Okay. Actually, you guys can try one. So like Nikki the Claw with cheese. What does that remind you guys of? Tell me a story that cheese reminds me of. So like, reminds you of. Louis the Claw says, ha ha ha. That's it. And, Taranga says that's a terrific story. Thank you. I'm glad. See, the more that you play that game, the easier it gets to keep a conversation going so you don't have that awkward, like, silence. And, like, of course, with friends, you want to be comfortable enough with them where you can be in silence and it's not weird. But if you're trying to make friends and you're trying to keep a conversation going, you want to be able to have that flow. So, Nikki the Claw said cheese. So do you guys have any, can you guys think of anything that cheese reminds you of? Or even if you don't type it, whether you just think of a story at home or whatever, try to implement that. Play that game with yourself and, like, see if you can come up with a funny story. So, like, go ahead. And I see Plushie. I will get back to that in a second. Nikki the Claw says, can we make an app to make friends and replace the vowels with Y's? Friends. Aw, that's cute. Actually, Bumble is an app to make friends. I think some people still use it as like a hookup app, But Bumble is an app to make friends. Some people even use Tinder to make friends, but I don't know how effective that is. Bumble. Yes. Did I say that right? Yes, I did. Okay. Yeah, I think of just like bumblebees. Um, Plushy. Hmm. What does that remind me of? Uh, Actually, you know what's funny? Okay, so I have that Olaf plushie in the background, and there's a part of me that's paranoid that people are gonna think that I like Frozen, and I'm such a pretentious fuckhead that I'm like, I don't really like Frozen, I'm better than that. But the little story behind that is a family member got that for Scout. So that actually belongs to Scout. That's Scout's Olaf, my ferret. Um, so nobody think I like Frozen because I'm too pretentious to like movies that I don't think are good, and I don't want anybody to think that I have a positive opinion of it. Um, let's see. I'm gonna read through your comments. I've tried it. Oh, Flower Power Pumpkin says, I've tried it before for the friends thing. It is kind of slow, but I think it can work in some cases. Louis the Claude says, I land on subjects that make me self-conscious. Like cheese makes me think of a specific anime reference, but what if Nikki hates anime? Um, I mean, that's the thing is like I I could have thought the same thing about bringing up the Olaf thing and been like, "Oh, what if somebody likes Frozen?" But it's like at the same time I can kind of make fun of myself and like be like, "Oh, I'm pretentious," and like sort of turn the joke back on myself so I don't alienate somebody else. So it's like if you are self-conscious about it, like you could own it and be like, "Ah, I'm an anime nerd. Have you seen this one? I fucking that reminds me of this shit, blah blah blah." Like own it. If you're self-conscious about it, you think it makes you nerdy or whatever the fuck it is, own it. That's fine. Nikki the Claw says, I never knew Friends was the point of Bumble. It def has a dating app reputation. Um, hmm. I vote. Okay. Quick side note. There is an app for gay men called Grinder. Why is there not an app for gay women called Scissor? It should exist. Just saying. Um, I kind of like don't think scissoring is a real thing that actually works. Okay, anyway, that was a weird side note. Let's go back to the comments. Bumble has something in its settings that's mainly a dating app, but you could switch it to just friends. Oh, Louis the Claw, which anime? Good question. Nikki the Claw says, imagine a world where I did hate anime. It would be the same, just less entertained. Uh, Chad Zilch says, sidetrack, but I gotta make one of those, I gotta get me one of those fragile stickers. Dude, I should, like, I have several of them. I could, like, mail you one, actually. Send me your address, and I will mail you one. With a, with a cute card with it or something. Yeah. Not in the chat. I don't want you to get doxxed. Private, DM me your address, and I will send you the sticker. Skizzer. I like the spelling of that. It's cheese. Vegeta, Dragon Ball, Resurrection F. I don't get it, but I appreciate it. Damn, the chat is fucking popping. Hell yeah. I got into talking about anime and cartoons with some classmates the other day and got a bunch of good recommendations. See, that's another good thing about, like, with making friends is, like, finding common ground. And it's like, you know, you never know if somebody's gonna like something unless, like, you bring it up. So, you know, finding common ground, being genuine, that's your best way to like make a good impression is be genuine. Be who you are. Don't be afraid to be nerdy. Don't be afraid to bring up something that maybe somebody might not be into. That's okay. um you know, one second, I'm gonna look through my notes. Or even you could say like, oh, that anime, how did you get into that? And they could say, like, oh, my friend showed me this and we binged it. Like, ask people about themselves if you're not sure what they're into. Like, you know, just making sure you actually engage in conversations with people. Like, that's such a huge part of it. Like, even if maybe they're not a fan of the same thing, take an interest in what they're interested in too. You know what I mean? Um let's see. I'm looking through my notes to like delete some of this stuff so I don't say the same stuff. Ba ba da da ba da ba ba. Let's see. Oh, I got to talking about. Oh, wait, I read that one already. VI Falcon says, I have used Bumble as a dating app in the past, but any dating app has a setting for friends, or you could say that in your profile. See, I feel like that doesn't always work. Like, a friend of mine who is a lesbian, she, like, posts specifically, like, I'm not into guys. Don't ask me for a three-way. I don't want to do that. And, like, it doesn't matter. All guys will still be like, hey, will you have a three-way with me? I want a three-way. So sometimes it's like they'll just see a hot chick and be like, I'm gonna message you anyway or whatever. So I guess it depends. Loving the anime love as well. Chad Zilch says that'd be dope. Thank you. Hell yeah, yeah. Just don't forget to send it to me because I will forget otherwise. Nikki the Claus says thank you for that reference, Louie. See? And Nick did like anime, and you were nervous about it, but now you've bonded and now you're buddies. And I'm not just saying that because you're already roommates. Flower Power Pumpkin says, I've been trying to really try out recommendations that people give me lately. Speaking of which, Flower Power Pumpkin, you would be fucking proud of me. I started watching Avatar The Last Airbender. I fucking love it already. I'm like one episode in and I fucking love it. It's spicy. Yes! Yay! I love the hype, Nikki. Yes! I never would have known. LOL. Wait. Oh. I'm sorry, it took me a second. I was like, he never would have known that I didn't watch Avatar? My brain, like, is fucking slow. I went 6 weeks without smoking weed, and yet my brain is still fucking slow somehow. I guess this is just me as a person. Avatar is the best show. Dude, that's what I've heard. It has like 100% on like everything. I guess I could unplug this now. Beep. Oh, another quick little thing. Another way that I like, cause like sometimes if you like meet somebody and you vibe really well, sometimes it's like weird to be like, hey, what's your phone number? Cause that's like a really forward question. Or be like, take down my phone number, cause that takes a lot of effort. Or like even adding people on social media, I feel like you add them and then you never talk to them again, and you just see their posts, and then it's like maybe they have like a weird social media presence or whatever, who knows. But a way that I like to connect with people, and I'll do this with like excuse me, I'll do this with like my Uber customers. If they're cool, I'll be like, yo, if you want to connect later, my Snapchat name is this. And it's like a funny, I'm not going to dox myself and give people my Snapchat name, but it's like something funny. And everybody is like, oh my God, that's hilarious. And like, so, and I've actually made people laugh from giving them my Snapchat name. It's something really easy that they can remember. So having like a unique username that's funny, it's a good conversation starter, and giving them your info rather than asking them for theirs is like a good way to, make it easy to like exchange that info. Also like, I'm a slut for Avatar. I love saying I am a slut for saying I'm a slut about things. So I love that. Also, Flower Power says, but yes, I've been wanting to connect with classmates outside of class, but I'm kind of awkward about it. Yeah, I think honestly saying your Snapchat name is like the easiest way to do it, is because it's just like, it's like the lowest effort way of saying like, hey, let's connect, without being like, because I feel like the awkward way is saying like, what's your phone number? Because I feel like that really puts people on the spot. But like, uh, you know what I mean? Like, how do you guys feel about it? Also, like, another way to, like, go out and meet people, like, Flower Power, like, you have your classmates, say you're not in class, like, or since you are in college, like, you know, uh, you know, I know that you're an animation club. Uh, People could join organizations or join clubs or whatever. Um, like, what are you guys interested in that you think, oh, maybe this would be a fun opportunity to meet people? Like, you could look up online, like, opportunities, like, my friend and Andy, and who's been on the stream, Flower Power. You and I met the same way. Fucking marching band. Taylor, who was a guest on my stream, I met him through marching band. I met so many friends. I've another one of my friends. I met several of my friends just from doing marching band. And I'm so grateful for that. If you're into sports, if you're into volunteering, like picking something you care about, like a hospital or an animal shelter. Fuck, it could be a D&D group. Like, if it has online opportunities, if you want to do, like, something COVID friendly. Just doing things you enjoy. And you could research online organizations near you if that's something you're interested in. So what kind of stuff could you see yourself taking part of? Um, let's see. Flower Power says, yeah, we usually have club after class, and we're going to Comic-Con as a group this month. That's fucking awesome. So I think that'll be a great opportunity. Yeah, absolutely. Plus, like, wearing a cool costume, like, what more of, like, a conversation starter is that? Like, people be like, yo, you're dressed as fucking, I was about to name an Avatar character, but I don't know the lady's name, because I'm a fucking poser. I've only seen the one episode. Katara. Katara? Am I right? Let me know in the chat if I'm right. I feel like I'm right. Um, let's see. Katara. Yay, I did it. Okay. Let's see. Louis the Claw says, I typically don't exchange info unless I've met someone multiple times and we start making a plan organically. See, I feel like that makes it harder to make friends if you wait till you met multiple times, because it's like, my friend Emily, I met her at a laundromat and we connected. My friend Kamaya, I met her at a laundromat and we connected. Poison, I met him during Uber and we connected. Like, there's so many friends that I would have completely missed out on the opportunity of being friends with if I wasn't just like, yo, here's my info. You know what I mean? So, like, if you wait for the right moment, there's never gonna be, like, a right moment, if that makes sense. Like, it makes sense to, like, click well and make sure you vibe before, like, meeting somebody and being like, hi, add me. You know what I mean? But, like, you just don't want to, if you're trying to make friends, like, passing up those opportunities because you're afraid to make that move, like, I think you could be limiting yourself by staying in that comfort zone. It's okay to get outside of your comfort zone a little bit, if that makes sense. Let's see. It'll be a side note. Here's my number. Let me know when you head out. Okay. Roll20 is supposedly a good D&D website to meet people that need players for their campaign. Yeah, and when you meet friends, I hope you roll a nat 20 on charisma. Ayo. My dad once, okay, this is like totally, that reminds me of, we're gonna play the That Reminds Me of game. There was one time, my group chat, my D&D group chat was like going off on my phone, and my dad like noticed my phone said like D&D group chat, and he was like, oh my god, are you playing Dungeons and Dragons? And I was like, yeah. And he goes, you're a fucking nerd. So I mean, he said it playfully. I think I made him sound like more like an asshole than he was, but that just made me think of that. uh I've tried to explain D&D to my dad, and he like doesn't get it, but I feel like there's a way to explain it to people who aren't in that realm, and in that world, I guess. I'm cool if someone shares their info with me, but I don't like to being so forward with contact info. I feel like if like I feel like Facebook is a totally different thing, because it's like that's like your like real name or whatever, like, you know what I mean, or like your phone number. Like Snapchat, you can just like easily block somebody, if that makes sense. I mean, I'm not trying to tell you to like how to live your life. I'm just like making suggestions. Tried to explain D&D to my mom too, but she tries to get it. Well, that's good. Excuse me, I burped into the mic. That was gross. There was a Charisma on Command video where somebody was explaining D&D in terms of like relating it to Game of Thrones, how it's like this fantasy world, and finding a way to relate it to like a more general public. And I thought that was a cool idea. So like if you have like an interest like that you want people to understand, that's a good way to do it, is like relate it to something they're interested in. Like for instance, so I am interested in cars. I love cars. But I'm also really I have this thing where like I'm an animator. I hate live action remakes of animated movies. And I was explaining this to somebody and I said, "What do you do?" "Oh, I'm a mechanic." "Oh, okay. So, you know how that reminds me of like back in the day when you could work on cars and now they updated it so you can't and you have to take it to the dealership and blah blah blah." And I like related it. He's like, "Oh, yeah, I totally get what you mean. Yeah." And I'm like, "That's what they're doing to these movies. They're fucking making them so it's like new and improved, but it's not really new and improved." He's like, "Yeah, that fucking makes sense." And it's like we're vibing over this because I'm helping find a like common ground to like bridge that gap. So like, taking an interest in their interest and sharing your interest in a way that like finds the way to like intertwine it could be like a good way to do that. Also, uh another big one, guess what? Grow friendships with people you already know. So, Louis the Claw, we did not talk for like 7 years. And I was like, "Yo, Louis, what's up? Let's fucking hang out. Let's chit chat. Let's catch up." Same with Flower Power. We didn't talk for like 10 years. And I was like, "Yo, how's it going?" And we caught up. I mentioned Taylor that I met through band. We didn't talk for like 10 years. And I randomly was like, "Yo, how's it going?" Nikki the Claw, like, think about how much closer we've gotten in the past several months. Making an effort to reach out to people that you already know is a great way to make friends because you already have those connections, and you could just work on strengthening them. So, like, can you guys think of, like, people that you might reach out to that you know that maybe you could strengthen friendships with? I mean, fuck, even, like, the chat. Like, if there's people in the chat that you really like, there's so many times where I've been like, "Oh, my friend Louis, you know him in chat as Louis the Claw," and they're like, "Oh, Louis the Claw, he's awesome." Or, "Oh, my friend, her name in the chat is Liberace," and they're like, "Oh, her, yeah, she's awesome." Like, it's cool how like everybody like kind of knows each other now, like, and so you guys could make friends with each other, which I would also love because I love it when my friends make friends with my friends. um Ooh, I missed some of the chat. Pro tip: cover up a random burp and just say Morty afterwards. People will think you're really funny, and poof, now you made a friend. Uh, Louis the Claw says you're an exceptional friend, Shorty Pop. Aw, thanks. Thankies. That's like a Snapchat emoji, thankies, and I fucking love it. It's like my favorite thing. Uh, this is great, lol. Yeah, I do enjoy that. I shall start doing that. Um, so, uh, yeah, also, another thing is if you're at a social gathering and maybe you don't know who to talk to, um, one thing that you can do, and this helps other people too. I remember I was at a work function once, and I knew like almost everybody there, and I thought, there's a lot of new people here too. I wonder if anybody's struggling to find somebody to talk to. And I looked around the room, and I saw one girl like looking around, kind of not knowing who to talk to. And I went up to her, and I'm like, "Hey, I'm Danny. What's up? Welcome to this branch of the office. Hey, come over here. Let me introduce you to some people. Hey, everybody, this is Brittany. Brittany, this is this person. What do you do, Brittany? What do you do at the office? Oh, that's fucking cool." Like, and she emailed me later, and she was like, "Danny, thank you so much. You made me feel so welcome. I was so nervous at first, and you just made me feel right at home, and that meant so much to me." So, like, taking the time to, like, initiate conversation with somebody who, like, you know, uh, who maybe doesn't have anyone else to talk to, that's a great way to have a conversation. Or even, like, say like, "Hi, my name is blah blah blah. I don't think we've officially met, but I work down the hall, or I've seen you around here." Um, you know, uh and also, if you're nervous about reaching out to somebody, side note, if you're nervous about reaching out to somebody you haven't talked to in a while, remember they probably appreciate you reaching out. The worst they can do is just not respond if they're like busy or whatever, and that's okay, you know? Let's see. Santono? How do I say your username? Also, can you for also first time chat from viewer. What's up? How's it going? Can you give me a suggestion? Yeah, about like how to make friends, or like what do you want to know? Let me know. Um Also, V Falcon says, haha, thanks. It's absolutely worked for me at parties. Um I have extreme bipolar disorder, so it's a little hard for me to make friends. Okay. So like, in what ways do you feel that having bipolar disorder inhibits that for you? Like, just so I could like understand better. Um, we talked a little bit about like where to meet people. And we're going to talk a little bit about like, how to make a good impression and how to maintain friends, cuz I feel like some people could have like trouble doing that too. Like maybe you make meet friends, or maybe you make friends easily, but then the friendships fall apart. I don't know if maybe that's what you're experiencing. Let me know. But these are all things that like we're sort of diving into today. You know, like I think making a good impression can be really hard, or maintaining friendships. Uh, One thing that I really liked, it was this tip that it was like the first feeling that you should make somebody feel when you meet them to make a good impression is show them that you're fun. So you could wear like a fun t-shirt, or make a joke or whatever. In order for me to make a good impression on my Uber customers, I have a sticker of Betty White, rest in peace, where she's going like this, and everybody's like, "I fucking love your Betty White sticker," and like right off the bat, before they even get in my car, they're like, "Oh, this girl is fun, I'm enjoying that." um you know uh let's see. It's like I always get bored easily, and I get frustrated a second later after a little conversation. Um, yeah, you know what? Actually, I can relate to that because, like, I used to smoke a lot of weed, and I remember, like, when I would get stoned and then hang out with people, um, I remember like I was hanging out with my dad's girlfriend, and she was telling me about something, but I was stoned and I didn't feel like listening, and I just like got really annoyed at having to listen. And like I felt bad cuz later she's like, "Oh my god, do you hate me?" Like, and it's like, "No, I don't." Like, but like in that moment I was just like, "Oh, I don't want to listen." And like it is really hard sometimes whenever you're in one of those moods, or even like I've had that happen where like my social energy gets low, and maybe I'm hanging out with my mom who loves to talk, and like, you know, I get to a point where it's like I don't know how to say I don't feel like talking right now. And that gets hard. So like I relate to what you're saying. And like, depending on, I think there's different ways you can navigate that. Um, Depending on the situation, like if you've been talking for a while and your social energy's low, you could be like, "Hey, I've even actually made a joke once. I was at a friend's house, and I was like, "Hey, I'm going to go up to the bathroom for 10 minutes and stare at my phone to get some social energy back." And like sort of made a joke about it, but they were like, "Dude, I totally get it." Um Rather than being like, "Oh, you're annoying me," or anything. Not that my friends were annoying me, but it's just like I had like low social energy. Or even if you're bored of what they're talking about, maybe find a way to relate it back to something about you if that makes it more interesting. Like, not saying always do that, but if it makes it more interesting for you, like, you know, um, like if somebody were coming to me about their problems a lot, rather than being like, oh, they're always coming to me about their problems, blah blah blah, and getting frustrated. Not that like I do that a lot or anything like that. I don't want you guys to feel like you can't come to me about your problems, but like that happens to me if I'm like like mentally like drained. um I found it helpful to be like, I guess I'm technically doing this right now, but I've found it helpful to be like, oh, I relate to that in this way. And then that way it sort of like includes me in the situation, which I guess I'm technically doing it right now, but like, because I just said, oh, I relate to that this way, but that's just me trying to relate to you. I don't know why I'm getting so paranoid that people are dissecting and being like what I'm doing right now, but anyway, let's see. I live alone, so for me it's getting very, very difficult. Yeah, I live alone too, and I like definitely I've gotten to a point now where I'm able to like enjoy my own company, but like making that time with friends is very important. And I get where you're coming from. Like when I first lived alone, it was fucking scary because like I really didn't have a lot of friends, and I was like, how the fuck am I gonna pass the time? What am I gonna do? Who's gonna be willing to come out and visit me? Like I feel so lonely. Like, I've definitely been in that situations. Flower Power says, or maybe ask questions to sort of change the subject. Yeah, that's also a good idea. You know what I mean? Like change it to something that you're interested in. What do you think of those ideas, by the way? Like, is this something that you think might be helpful, or um, let me know. I mean, I'm happy to like keep giving you feedback or giving you ideas or whatever. Let me know if those ones sound like they might be something that's helpful to you so far. Um, you know, also like and as far as making a good impression, like bringing good energy to the table. Like obviously you don't want to bring too much energy and be like, hi everybody, I'm feeling great, because it's like, holy shit. Watch, I bet when I post this on YouTube, it's gonna take that as the fucking still when I post the video. um but because you don't want to get like overload of energy, but like having those positive vibes, you know um it really makes a difference for people. Um, let's see. Also, I've noticed when I dress casual, it seems to make people more comfortable too than whenever I get like really dressed up. A friend of mine actually said the fact that I dress casually makes them feel more comfortable, because it feels like they don't have to like, prepare so much whenever I come over, that they could just be themselves. I'm in my fucking pajama pants right now, Loki. But not saying I walk around in sweatpants all the time, but like, you know, I'm not afraid to like wear a hoodie and some leggings or whatever. Like, uh, you don't. That's just something that a friend of mine told me. But yeah, having good energy, being positive, um, having good vibes. Um, so what do you guys think of that kind of stuff? Like, do you feel more comfortable around people who dress casually? Do you notice when people have good vibes? Like, um, do you feel like you project good energy? It sort of goes in line with what you're saying, Soten or Sotono. Um, like making sure you project that positive energy, because people pick up on that. You know what I'm saying? Um, Flower Power says, I like being around positive people. Yeah, I think it's definitely good to be around positive people. I think it's way easier for somebody who's positive. Uh, it's easier for somebody who's negative to drag down a positive person than a positive person to bring up somebody who's negative. So when we meet positive people, we're like, "Oh, this is great." But when we meet negative people, sometimes they can drag us down, and it makes it really difficult. Um, Soten says, when I get frustrated, I just leave because I know I can't handle more, so changing the subject for me will not work. Yeah, I've like related to that too, like I remember like, and not even in a situation where like somebody was being boring, but like at a family gathering, like my dad said something that like really upset me, and I got up and walked away because I didn't want to like start anything. And I think there are times where, you know, it is appropriate to get up and step away and, you know, collect yourself, so that you don't, you know, put on negative energy to somebody. Um so when you're saying you get frustrated, like, could you maybe give me an example of a time when you got frustrated with when talking to somebody? Like, did they say something that was like offensive, or did they like just go on about a topic you weren't interested in? Like, I just want to understand it a little bit better, like a scenario of which that's happened to you. Um or that has like evoked those feelings for you. Flower Power says, I think dressing casually makes it more comfortable. Yeah, definitely. I remember like there was one person I would hang out with that like would always dress really nice whenever we hung out, and I would always feel like really stressed out actually to go hang out with them because I felt like I had to get super dressed up. And that's not to say you can never get dressed up, but I feel like if you're just going to be casually hanging out with somebody, I think sometimes it does kind of put a pressure on somebody to. I'm glad that I'm not the only one that feels that way. Like, I'm glad you relate to that, actually, Flower Power. Um, and yeah, let me know, Soten, about the situations that like with examples of that. Flower Power says, I'd feel self-conscious a lot because I'd wear the same outfit all the time. Dude, same. I will do anything to fucking avoid doing laundry. So I get that. Nothing wrong with avoiding doing laundry. That's my life philosophy. Um, Also, I think a lot of people struggle, like, not only making friends, but, like, I know for me growing up, I could, like, make a good impression easily, at times and, like, make a friend, but, like, the friendship would always fall apart, and it was so hard for me to maintain friends. So I'm going to talk a little bit about how to maintain friends. Um, Also, you can watch the previous stream on how to be a good friend. That is something that might be helpful to you guys. Yeah, there's a couple girls in class that look really classy and well put together all the time. I'm a little jealous, honestly, but they are the sweetest people. Oh, yeah. I feel like that was me in college. I would always go to a thrift store and get like really cute outfits, and I would like get stoked to wear cute outfits, but that's also because I'm very thrifty and I liked paying a quarter for things and then getting dressed up. But it's like, um, honestly, dude, thrift stores are the fucking shit. If you ever want cute clothes, I swear to God, thrift stores have fucking everything. When you say jealous, do you mean it's because like you don't have like you feel like you don't have like nice clothes or like couldn't afford like nice clothes, or do you mean jealous that it's like, oh, I'm wearing this right now and they're wearing this right now? Like, in what kind of way? Um, as far as like maintaining friends, also, you know, loyalty, you know, being trustworthy, keeping secrets, being reliable, showing up whenever you say you're going to show up, reaching out and having like an equal give and take, listening well, you know, using humor. I almost said humor. Being yourself. Also, one I think people struggle with is like staying in touch and like reaching out often. That's a huge part of friendship, is like just making sure you reach out. And the easiest way to do that sometimes is just say like, "Hey, how are you?" It's that easy. Even though it seems difficult. So like, what do you guys think of like the idea of just reaching out to somebody and saying like, "Hey, what's up? What are you up to? How are you doing? Um, what's been new?" Like sometimes I'll have to ask that question a couple times. Like I'll say, "Hey, how are you?" And somebody might just say, "Good, how are you?" And you don't want to just say good and you, like that infinite loop of like not really having a conversation. Sometimes after I say, "Hey, how are you?" and they just say good, I'll be like, "Oh, glad to hear it. What makes things good for you? What have you been up to lately?" Like following it up, showing like, "Hey, I genuinely want to know, like, really, how are you?" um And that shows that you have like a genuine interest in what they say and do. Like when you take an interest in what people are doing, like that's another way to like keep friends. Um so like uh Also, I haven't heard from you, Satona, in a little bit. So like, I just don't want you to think I'm like ignoring you. Let me know. Cause I definitely do want to like help with your situation, and it would just help me a little bit better to like understand a specific scenario. So if I'm prying too much or anything like that, let me know. I just want to help however I can. So like understanding a little bit better definitely helps me. Um, I think Flower Power says I think it goes into a bit of both. It goes into body image issues and appearances, but yeah, I don't like how I look when I'm dressed up. Uh I try to explain why I'm doing good. I'll respond to that one first. Um yeah, I think you know, looking up uh ways to dress best for your body type is nice too. If like Cuz like people of any body shape can like look really nice. Like women with like an apple body shape can still look really nice no matter what. Like all bodies are beautiful. It's just about I think I phrased that weirdly whenever I said that. When I said still look very nice. You look nice but like I'm just saying like, and I'm not saying you have any particular body type. I'm just saying like apple for one is like one that I feel like women might have trouble finding certain outfits for because there's not always outfits made specifically for that, but there is definitely websites you can go on that are like, hey, what's your body type? You could put in measurements and it'll be like, you're this body type. And then googling, okay, what are outfits that look really good for this? What are outfits that look really good for this type? Pair body shape, whatever it is, you can always find. Or even men, like um I've looked up like uh finding the right suit for a guy just because I was like fucking interested because I like fashion, and it's like, oh, if you're a tall guy, here's a way to make that look good. Like don't wear horizontal stripes because you'll look too tall or whatever. Or if you're a short guy, here's how to like do that. If you're a bigger guy, suspenders instead of a belt. Like there's all these different ways that you can complement your body type. Like um you know what I mean? Um, so what do you think of that, Flower Power? Also, I try to explain why I'm doing good when people ask because I hate that too when it goes, "Hi, how are you? Fine." Yeah, I do that as well. I try to like elaborate a little bit, or I'll use like an interesting word. Like people ask me how I am, and I'll be like, "Oh, I'm fabulous." You know, so if I'm like, I do that if I'm talking to a customer, uh, because then that way I give them a little bit more room to talk than just like, you know what I mean? But like in a message, I feel like it's different. Um, or like with somebody you're like a little closer to, if that makes sense. Um, let me look at my notes here. Okay. Um, okay. Soten says, like my ex-girlfriend was just saying me to stop drinking, and I dumped her without even listening to her. Um, yeah, I think certain things can be really difficult to address with ourselves when it's something that we're sensitive about. And if uh or not even not something necessarily we're sensitive about, but the way somebody might go about discussing something, you know, like for instance, I remember on my vacation to visit my cousin, I was like, she lives in Oregon, so I was smoking a fuck ton of weed because that's legal there, and I was getting like I definitely that's why I had to get sober because I was like I like legitimately like had a problem where I just like couldn't stop, and it was affecting a lot of things for me. So I remember at one point she had said she got mad because I didn't come out to the car and everybody had been waiting for me, and I didn't realize that everybody went out to the car, and I was inside smoking a joint. And she's like, "Are you serious? You're smoking weed right now? We were all waiting for you." And I was like, "Oh, I didn't realize everybody was out there." And she was like, "You would have realized if you weren't stoned." And then like we got in the car and she just kept hammering it into me like, "Oh, you just have to stop smoking weed all the time." And I got so angry I just screamed, "Shut the fuck up!" And then the whole car just like went silent and we were all just like quiet for a while. Because that was something that I was sensitive about and I didn't want to be lectured about it. I was really mad at that time. And we talked about it later. I think even if we do have those moments where we get upset, it's not necessarily too late to go back and be like, hey, underneath that anger, if there's a previous stream where we talked about a thing called an anger iceberg, and when we look at our anger, right, at the top of the iceberg, if you've ever seen a picture of an iceberg, you know that it's like, I'm gonna draw a really crude fucking iceberg. Okay. So this is my really crude drawing of an iceberg that I did in like 5 seconds. So like, this is our anger. It's up top. It's like a little tiny bit compared to all this shit down there underneath the water, underneath the surface where other people aren't seeing. So maybe on the surface, people are only seeing our anger, but what are all the other emotions that come underneath this anger? So like, for instance, okay, in that moment, right? I was feeling angry, and so I responded by lashing out. But deep down, I felt self-conscious because I felt like I was criticized. I felt like and I felt embarrassed because I felt like I was being criticized in front of everybody. I felt like I was weak because I couldn't stop smoking. I felt angry at myself. I felt some self-hatred there because I felt like, why can't I stop smoking? I felt stupid, and I just, all these negative emotions underneath that was causing me to react the way that I did. So whenever you have those moments where you get angry, ask yourself, instead of just looking at the anger, ask yourself, what are the emotions underneath this anger that are causing me to feel this way? Because you're never going to get rid of your anger if you don't address what's underneath that. You can't just you can't melt the top of the iceberg. That bottom of the iceberg is still going to be there. So by exploring that, you can help reduce that anger because you're getting it from essentially the root. You're getting to the root of the problem. So like, consider in that instance, right? Your girlfriend, or now ex-girlfriend, says, "Hey, stop drinking." And you dumped her. You were angry, right? So you broke up with her and without listening to her. So, underneath that anger, if we're dissecting your anger iceberg, what emotions were you feeling underneath that anger? And take a second to really think about that. And um and then we could talk about that for sure. And then also, when you're in those moments, even just taking a few seconds before you respond, like not having like necessarily a knee-jerk reaction, but like whenever you want to say something angry, like I had a moment today where I got mad about something and I just like shut my phone off. I was like, I will reply later because I don't want to reply while I'm angry. Or taking, if you're in person, taking a few seconds to just like, even if it's the amount of time it takes to like take a sip of water for a minute, just to like not say the wrong thing at the wrong time, just taking like a minute to wait before you say something, so that you can sort of digest that anger iceberg, sort of calm down or something. I hate when people tell me to calm down. That's my least favorite fucking thing. So let me try to like rephrase that. Because if I'm upset and somebody says calm down, I just want to be like, oh, fuck you. Again, I hope that YouTube doesn't use that for the fucking thumbnail. I'm gonna stop flipping off the camera because my luck, I know that YouTube is gonna make that the fucking thumbnail. But yeah, so like, if you analyze your anger iceberg in that scenario, what do you think about how you were feeling in that moment underneath the anger? And uh me too. Uh yeah. Yeah, it is so annoying, isn't it, when somebody says to fucking calm down? I hate that shit. I'm glad that you understand and you relate, for sure. So like, what do you think of some of the suggestions that I made as far as like dissecting underneath your anger and like taking a moment to respond so you could think about that, or even articulating like, hey, when you said that, it made me feel this way. I feel angry. Like, for instance, I was so fucking angry, actually. My I was talking to my dad's girlfriend about how I want to adopt a kid someday. It's a very sensitive topic to me because so many people have been like, "Oh, you'll change your mind. You'll change your mind. You should have your own. Blah blah blah. Oh, maybe it's a bad idea because blank blank blank." I fucking have heard every goddamn thing so many times, and it pisses me the fuck off. And so when I said this, and she said, "You'll change your mind," I looked at her and I said, I'm going to change her name to Tina. I said, Tina, I feel very angry right now. I am so angry about that. And I don't want to take this out on you. I am angry because I have been told exactly that by so many people. And I feel like I'm not being listened to. And it really hurts me. I feel like my decisions aren't being taken seriously. I feel like my feelings aren't being taken seriously. I feel like, using I feel statements rather than you did this and you did that. Like, you make it more about how you feel and say, I feel this when this happened. But like, I expressed to her, like, if we don't agree, we don't agree. Like, we can agree to disagree, whatever. But, like, if this is where this conversation is going, I can't have this conversation because I'm going to get so angry that I will either shut down or say something that I'm going to regret. And I don't want to do that to you. And I say this because I love you and I care about you. Like, reinforcing that too, like, hey, I'm saying this because I care about you. This makes me feel this way and I want to be open and honest. Like, sort of reinforcing it in that kind of way. So like, what do you think of that? Um uh and also remember that these conflicts that you could have with a friend are a temporary pain. Opening up when you're hurt is so important. Think of a soda. If you shake a can of soda like really hard to the point where all this fizz starts building up, if you let it sit for a while and like you give it a break or whatever, you let it resolve, that's one thing. But if you just keep shaking it and shaking it and shaking it, it's gonna explode. Or like if you crack a better fucking example, instead of a can, we'll talk about a bottle, right? A bottle of soda. After you shake it, maybe if you like crack it open a little bit and let some of that air release, that's sort of the same thing as like expressing to somebody, hey, I'm feeling this way, rather than letting them shake the bottle and holding it all in until you sort of explode that, if that makes sense. If I say, something says, if I say you in it, short, my mood changes within a second, except when I am smoking or doing something serious. Um, I'm trying to understand. I'm having a little uh confusion understanding what you mean in that. Um um would you mind going into a little bit more detail, cuz I think I'm confused by why what you had said. I'm not sure I'm understanding. Um if you don't mind. Um or if in the chat, if you guys could help me maybe understand or something, I'd appreciate that. Flower Power says, it's good to learn how to express yourself to friends because a lot of friendships tend to end after one fight when we're younger, and that can carry over into adulthood. Yeah, definitely, uh, that is so important. And my therapist told me you never truly understand a friendship until it's been tested. Um, let me see. Uh, you know, making sure that you're non-judgmental when a friend opens up to you, making sure you're encouraging, um, you know, things like that are very important, and your friends should be able to do the same thing. They should be able to make you feel like, you can open up. Um and if you do open up to a friend, right? And they put you down for opening up, that's a whole different story. But friends who really care about you and who love you and respect you, whenever you say, hey, this makes me feel some type of way, and if they really care, and you try to say, and you know that you're trying to say it with as much love and respect as possible, if they really care, they'll make that effort to understand. So, yeah, I definitely get what you're saying, Flower Power. I almost called you Flower Pot. Um, I used to be afraid to tell people when I was upset because I felt like I should never be upset or angry because then they would never see past that. Yeah, I feel like pick your battles too. Like, sometimes, like for instance, somebody might phrase something poorly and it'll just be like one word, and in my head, like, I know the other day I got a text and somebody phrased something in a certain kind of way where just one word they said like made me really angry, and I had to like take a break and just like walk away for a little bit. And it's like, I know at the end of the day this phrasing isn't that big of a deal, and I'm allowed to feel the way I do, but this isn't something I this particular thing isn't something I necessarily have to bring up. But it's like, how important is this thing to you? Is this pretty important for you to bring up, or is this like such a minor thing, if that makes sense? Like, obviously, like, your feelings are always valid. We've talked about that before. My therapist has also said that to me. But you don't want to take things out on people. And if it's like little tiny things, like, I guess sort of like picking your battles is a good way of putting it, if that makes sense. um Someone says, I'm sorry if my English is bad. Oh no, you don't have to apologize. It's okay. I'm sorry, honestly, that I had trouble understanding. um uh But you said that your mood, if I'm understanding correctly, you said that your mood changes really quickly, um, unless like you're busy doing something, or maybe you're smoking or something. I don't know if you mean like cigarettes or weed or whatever. Um, but yeah, it can definitely be difficult to manage our emotions. Um, I struggled with that. I struggled with that for a long time. I had really bad anger issues, where, you know, I would project that energy onto other people. Uh, it's like sort of a joke with me and my dad. I called him up once and I was like, hey, Dad, you know how I have a slight tendency to occasionally, every once in a while, have a tiny bit of an anger problem? And he starts cracking up. He's like, sorry, I didn't mean to laugh at that. I'm like, nah, I meant it as a joke. I know that I knew that I had anger issues. And that's something I've worked on. It is really fucking hard to deal with that. I know that. I fucking I fucking went through that. And no, English is not my first language, so it could be a problem. It's okay. I mean, like, all people are welcome to my stream, no matter where you're from, what language you speak. Like, everybody's welcome here, and I don't want you to feel like, just because English isn't your first language, that you're any less of a participant here. Like, I'm really glad to have you here, and I'm glad that you came onto the stream and were asking about this stuff. And actually, that inspires me. I'm gonna make a note here for, I think, for my next stream. Yeah, you know what? For my next stream, I'll do a stream on how to manage anger. To manage anger. Yeah. So for my stream next week, I'm gonna go more in depth about how to manage anger. Um, because I could speak on some experience. I think the only thing that I really have to offer at this moment is, like as far as that goes, is, you know, the anger iceberg, taking time to wait to respond. Um, if you're in a sort of bad mood, there's like sort of a thing called a sneaky hate spiral where one thing will happen and then another annoying thing will happen and then another annoying thing happens and then like the next thing you know, one little thing happens, like you know, drop something or whatever, and you just fly off the handle, whatever it is. Um, hello, come here. I'm going to exploit your cuteness for my stream. Mwah. This is Scout. Um, so those are some tips I have for right now. I think a lot of people can relate to that. It'll be a great topic. You hear that, Scout? We're going to learn about anger management next time. Mwah. I need to head out, but great stream tonight. Have a good night, everybody. See you, Flower Power. I'm actually going to hop off in a little bit here, too. Am I talking too loud in your little ears? Mwah. You want me to set you down? I'll set you down, buddy. He doesn't like whenever I hold him while I stream because I talk really loud into the mic. Anyway, I'm gonna hop off here in a little bit too, actually, because I do have to get going. However, Soten, was there stuff that I said in this today that was helpful? And like I said, next week at the same time, so Wednesday, it's well, it's 8 to 9 p.m. here. I don't know what time it is there, but this time next week I will be I'm in Eastern Standard Time for the record. I will be streaming at the same time, and I'll do a whole stream on how to manage anger. So I will definitely go more in depth about this for next week. I'll do a lot of research, as I always do for my streams, and I'll make sure I have a lot of resources available for you to help with that. But what did you guys think of today's stream? Was this helpful? And Soten, definitely tell me if, let me know if the Soten is now following. Oh, thank you. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate that. You get a heart. Thank you so much. Yeah, I do streams twice a week. So Tuesday is going to be an interview, but like I said, next Wednesday, I'm going to go balls to the wall on anger management stuff. Louis the Claw says, great stream, Shorty Pop. Good night, everyone. Thanks again for the follow, by the way. I really appreciate that. I really hope to see you next week. I really hope that this was helpful. And thanks, Louis the Claw, for the encouragement. I'm glad that you liked the stream. If you guys have any last words to say, let me know. I'm going to hop off here in a minute. Is there a ferret by me that I can... Oh, look at him. Look at him. He is so cute and precious. Here, wait. Look at him. Hang on. Oh, he's hiding. Yay. Chad says, awesome stream. It's been another great stream. Aw, thank you, Nikki. Thank you, Chad. I'm really glad that you enjoy it. And Soten says, yeah, I followed you so I can have more suggestions. Oh, I'm really glad. I'm glad that this was helpful. And thank you so much for letting me know. Come here, buddy. And yeah, I will see you guys next week. Thank you guys for all the encouragement. Thanks for showing up. I really appreciate all you guys. Scout, you want to help me sign off? Scout says goodbye, and Scout says he'll see you next week too. Sniff, sniff, sniff. Mwah. All right, bye guys. Love y'all. Scout loves you too. Okay, bye. Heart right back to you. Boop. All right, see ya.